Alright, this is going to be a quick video about my experience installing Linux on these two laptops. They would be considered junk. They would be thrown out, but I managed to breathe some new life into them with Garuda XFCE. It's not running the KDE interface like it usually would be. This is XFCE. You can see it's running fine, right? On both of them, it's only taking up about like, these each have 4 gigs, so it's only taking about like 1 gig of RAM at idle. By comparison, right? My sister's laptop has 16 gigs, and Windows 11 took 10 whole gigs at idle, doing nothing. So it's obviously an improvement. Obviously, I installed Garuda on that laptop too. All she does is watch YouTube on it anyways and do like classwork. So it shouldn't be like a game breaker. So these two laptops. This is the Acer. I don't know the exact model. I could check fast fetch on them. Hold on, I could pause this. Okay. This is a Dell Latitude e6510. I know this name by heart. I've been looking it up for like the past couple of days now. This is something that happens to me whenever I like get a laptop, right? I obsessively search all sorts of information about it. And I'm pretty comfortable with using this for like a couple of days as like a secondary driver alongside this. I'm gonna say that this is absolutely a piece of shit for laptop applications. I'm gonna get back to what I'm gonna be using it for later. If you predicted it's gonna be a home server, yeah, it's gonna be a home server. All right. So this, I kind of have to look at the. Oh, it doesn't give the title. Well, this is like the Acer, and I think this is the Acer Inspire 315. So now comparing these two, we have a 4-core 1st Gen i5 versus an Intel Celeron. I'm surprised they didn't ship this out with the fucking Pentium, but at least we have something with a little bit of dignity behind the name. Each of these have 4 gigs of RAM. Each of these, well, I mean, what, they have a screen. This obviously has more contemporary ports. We have a USB 3.0 and USB-C, and on the other side, I think it's the same thing. USB 3.0, USB-C, and this headphone jack stopped working with Linux. I don't think it ever worked. So what I do is I use a USB 3.0 to, no, a USB-C to audio jack dongle. Now the ports on these. We have a disk drive on express card slot that I've taken out. This is so confusing to use because you have to push this in with a pencil and then you have to pull it out. You have to yank it out to pull this out. It's pretty secure, like at least on paper, but it sounds stupid as hell. Okay, so we have a disk drive. Which is an amazing idea, right? I've never used a CD on a computer in my life. Even though I have all these drives, right? I rarely listen to music. And when I do, it's just like the same like 5 songs on YouTube Music. So I can't say that it really helped me much. Even though I went and I downloaded like my entire Spotify playlist in bulk. Like I rarely use that thing. So the ports here are a little bit more interesting, right? I've gone over the DVD drive and the express card slot. This has a hardware network switch, which I think is an amazing idea. We should have more of these, right? But the problem with this, right? Even when you enable it, the Wi-Fi doesn't fucking work. The Wi-Fi doesn't work. It magically worked when I first installed it, right? And then for some reason, it just stopped working again. So, I don't even know what to say. We have a smart card slot, security card slot. I don't know what this is. This is like a, yeah, smart card, a card reader. Which definitely is, I don't know, it's like the biggest giveaway that this is like an enterprise computer, right? Because no one in their right mind would have an ID card reader unless this thing was going for workplace applications. I was told by the person that sold me this for way too high of a price, right? They sold me this for like $200, right? But this was like during like right after the post-COVID era when I didn't have a laptop. So if I got one, I probably wouldn't have gotten one as lovably scrappy as this one, right? This is like the Millennium Falcon of laptops, right? So we have a working headphone jack, working microphone jack. I don't know who would use a microphone for a laptop, like putting up a whole microphone like this, right? And guess what? This microphone is USB. It's USB-B, right? But at least it goes through USB. So are you plugging in are you going through like the Beatles stash? Are you going through like the old rock band stash and stealing a microphone to use on this? You got some problems. 2 USB 2 slots. Fan duct. Oh, this is the SSD slot. You can actually like yank this out. You can actually hot swap it, like literally just yanking it out. I wouldn't do that, but I don't have any screws installed on here. For some reason, I put the screw on the disk drive, even though I literally don't use it. And I'm probably gonna use it for something else. We have a DisplayPort slot for some reason. This isn't shaped like any modern DisplayPort. You usually would have it like these. This side would be the same as this side, right? But it's a little asymmetrical and it's a little weird. I never tried plugging in a DisplayPort to see if it would work, but the option's there. So USB 2 and a USB 2 with eSATA. Now I was looking over videos of what eSATA is, and it seemed a little bit interesting. When I turn this into a home server, the eSATA seems kind of interesting for any network attached storage applications. So what I'm thinking, right, since this has some SATA in it, right, I could leave one of these drives hooked up and it would be significantly faster than the USB 2. But since this has an express card slot, there are modules to put USB 3 right here. So I could double dip theoretically. I could have one port with an ordinary standard hard drive, and then 2 more with USB 3 storage. Right? So in the back, power, VGA. I was in love with VGA during my first 5 years of using PCs, because I wanted a secondary monitor, and I remember holding on to my late grandfather's VGA screen that he gave me. It was a 4x3. I might pull up some pictures on it if I have some right now. Well, I've spent like a few weeks like just sorting through my pictures. I'd expect to have one, right? So my PC, my desktop would have a I'd use the spare display port, right? Because I didn't use that. I didn't use that because my main monitor, which has actually become my side monitor, right? That monitor does not have any display port capabilities. So it would just be HDMI only. So what I would do is I would use a spare display port slot, and I'd stick in a VGA to DisplayPort adapter, and I just hook it up through there, and it worked perfectly. It worked flawlessly. But with all the heavy use, you know, the screens only had like a few years left of life in them before I had to like replace them. And funny story about this monitor, right? This monitor, wait, I'll show you the slot, the express card thing. Here it is. Oh no, this is a different one. This can replace the disk drive with a second SSD, which I have. And here it is. It's got Windows 10. I was thinking to go back and reinstall Windows 7. But if I'm going to turn this into a home server, why am I going to be using Windows 7 on this? I think I mentioned it before, that this has absolute garbage battery life. Did I not? Well, you'll see it yourself, right? This was at 40% when I started recording this. It's now at 30%, giving 30 minutes. Now, you don't know how bad of battery life that might be when you know, you haven't used laptops all that much, which is fine. This thing, I just closed the screen and I left it off overnight, and it has 15 hours of life, right? You see right there. 15 hours completely at idle. All it has open is a terminal. All it has open is a terminal with the Latitude, and it has 30 minutes. With some basic math, 30% plus 30% plus another 10% would be about an hour and 40 minutes at idle, mind you, not having open any Firefox. Because if I open up Firefox, I'm right clicking. I'm not left clicking. If I open up Firefox and I just use like a lightweight Nvidia's thing. Oh yeah, I forgot. No Wi-Fi, but you can see the battery life expectations immediately go down. Like, I'm afraid to even look through images on this thing. This is what I was talking about. This is like express card expansion to get USB 3.0. But the only bad thing is that all of these, like the ones that I need, are they don't have like 2-day delivery. They don't have like 1 week delivery. They're gonna come in like 1 or 2 weeks, which is a little inconvenient because like literally everything else you can buy on Amazon has like 1 day or 2-day delivery. I mean, what can I say? I mean, I have the E7, fortunately. All right. So let me give you some tips on browsing through the internet with low power devices, right? You don't want to fucking open YouTube, okay? Don't open YouTube. The double gulp cup with the fucking syrupy, right? I don't know how I can get away with using such a, such a bloated start page, right? But it works. I guess it's because I'm not using. What? What do you mean it's using? What do you mean it's using 20? Like, what? Is it just like? Oh, it's not each individual tab. It's just Firefox itself taking like 2 gigs of RAM, which is fine. I have some extensions to alleviate that. Biggest one would be auto tab discard. I'm gonna actually delete this because I might not need that. You don't need to install any dedicated search extensions anymore, because H.264.5, I'm not going to be using YouTube, right? Instead of YouTube, right, what you want to do is go use Invidious, right? It is infinitely easier on your resources to use Invidious. And any YouTube link you click will have the option to inundate you, right? Because if your ad blockers are going to be working hard, and your RAM is going to be working hard, and your CPU is going to be working hard just to render YouTube, right? You're not going to want to do that. So I have Invidious Redirect, and I have it saved. I have it in the configuration, right? I manage extension. I just go to preferences, and I select my favorite instance, right? Because InVideo.us is just gonna send you to like a screen for you to select your own instance, right? Which is novel like the first 5 or 10 times, but after that, I just want to get to my instance, right? So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go Invidious inv.nadeco.net. Save, and it's saved. So if I were to look up something on a lightweight internet search engine like Forget, I'm gonna look up test. I'm just gonna look up test. Okay. Don't talk to me about the light mode. Okay, I have it set up automatically. Light in the day, dark in the night. And I feel like this is best for my eyes. Okay, I'm gonna look up videos. Test of Truth, Nigerian movies. So, since I have Invidious Redirect set up to the Nadeco instance, when I click this Nigerian movie, it will send me to nadeco.net. Isn't that amazing? You can see the highly respected. And the trending tab is legitimately better than YouTube, right? This is just like the popular. It'll give you like some reputable YouTube channels, some like liberal media, which I would love for you to try to guess my politics through that phrase alone. You know, I don't shy away from it. I'm not like other tech YouTubers that are like, I need my private jet to get around from place to place. And I'm not like other tech YouTubers that are just like, hello guys and gals, me Monohard. I really don't like gay people. I know that I used to talk about Linux tutorials, and I used to give a lot of helpful Linux tutorials, and I even helped you install a Mac OS on a virtual machine. But now I'm just going to talk about slop, right? I'm not going to be that kind of guy. A re-upload of a re-upload of a re-upload. I've never actually... Oh, but one minor thing that I don't like about this is that the page up and down buttons don't really work. I've gotten used to loving and using the page up and down buttons, right? Because on Firefox, if you press Control Shift and then page up and down, you can actually move a page up and down, like it says it would. And Control, page up and down, just Control, not Control Shift. You can navigate up and down tabs, because normally, right, what you would have to do is you'd have to use 3 fingers, right? You'd have to go Control Tab and then Control Shift Tab. Wait, it doesn't really show because there's only like 2 tabs, but I'll open 3 tabs, right? Control Shift Tab, go up. Control Tab goes down. And that's another thing with that I learned to use with laptops, right? With a laptop, you, especially one without a track point, and I bought this freaking track point. I don't know why I bought this track point anymore if I'm going to be using this as a home server. Look at the battery life. You got to learn how to use the keyboard as a navigation tool, right? Firefox has this guide, has this page where it just shows you like all of the shortcuts and all the keypads. I can go Control Shift D to make a new bookmark. But if you want to know how to do that, how to do all that, aside from like the the basics of like Control Tab, this keyboard, this fucking computer does not have F keys. It's another thing I didn't mention. This computer doesn't have fucking F keys, and I have to get one of my keyboards, one of my mechanical keyboards. This was actually my daily driver. Ignore my feet. Don't look at my feet, you fucking weirdo. This was actually my daily driver for like a couple years. And I bought this at MSRP. It was like $50, right? Now I just have this set up to Bluetooth, right? Because I don't really see, I don't notice any like major difference between using the dongle and using USB. It's draining battery anyways, right? And with the Bluetooth, you can actually see the battery life of that. So this is my daily driver, and you can see that it had, oh, this is another thing. This is another thing I bought solely because I really missed having a number pad. But you can see it has prominent page up and down, and it has the knob instead of the insert key, which I don't know how to feel about, because it's nice to have on the laptop, right? But I could literally just press the function key and then raise the volume up and down the same way, right? I could I do that like function, like these 2 brightness buttons, F1 and F2. Function F1, F2, it'll actually raise the brightness of the computer. It'll raise the brightness of the laptop. And then function F5 and F6, obviously they'll raise the brightness of the keyboard. So I really wouldn't mind having the insert key instead of the knob, solely because I know that I could easily, just do this and control the volume from these sides, right? Even play and pause media, which I rarely do, but I should. Look at the insert key is right here. I actually bound this to right alt on Windows, because I'd actually use Cheats in Among Us back when me and my sister would play Among Us a lot, just to give like some new functions and capabilities in Among Us. Honestly, I was getting bored of that game, and I just wanted to have some fun. It didn't matter if it was like good or bad, like if it was ethical or unethical. But now that I'm thinking about it, I should see on how to replace this with this, because I can't just put this here, right? Because this keycap is physically like thicker, right? It's like the same thickness of like the function keys, instead of like on the bottom. They're actually shorter by like a short margin, but it's noticeable. Feet, weirdo. This is my new daily driver keyboard. I'm sad that it only has white lights, but I can easily just press the button and change that. It doesn't have an insert key, but I don't really see how that's a huge issue. I don't use an insert key on the day-to-day. And this is another keyboard that I bought because I wanted to try stenotyping, like digital stenography. This is the Micro Center MK47, and I remember that name because somebody, some genius, they wanted to have some fun. They wanted to name something after the AK-47. And this is really helping to, bring back some RGB after, I changed it out for this. I bought this at the thrift store for $5 fucking, right? I don't know why somebody sold this for $5. I found the price of this. This is called the Keychron K4. It took me 5 seconds of Google searching because literally on the bottom of the keyboard they have the model right there. Oh my god, I was just looking at the lights. Oh my god. They have it right there. Right? This thing costs $80 MSRP. And it was on Keychron's site for $60 fucking. You don't want to guess how much I got this for? $5. And it was set up, you can see right here, to the Mac OS thing. This wasn't something that I chose. This was how it came. And I obviously don't have any replacement keys for that. This, I'm imagining some poor soul with more money than technical sense. They were using this on their Mac or something as like a Bluetooth keyboard, and then the Bluetooth stopped working, and then they sent this over here to the thrift store, and I bought this shit for $5. It was a steal, and nobody knew how much of a fucking rarity it was, right? It's amazing. Function. Oh, yeah. I definitely don't need that volume key. I'm gonna look up what an insert key even does. So apparently the insert key just does like this, right? I'm actually gonna test it out. So I have the on-screen keyboard right here. Okay, I'll just okay, I'll go here. I'll hold. Okay, hold on. This will be really tough with one hand, but my fingers, I'll just do this. What the hell? Okay. No. Okay. I guess I'll do some more research on insert key is. But yeah, you can see right there, battery life's gone down again, and it runs a lot hotter than this, even though I changed out the thermal paste like a few days ago. So yeah, you're getting banished to the home server room. Right. Bro. Okay. Yeah. So, if you want to use Reddit, right? Wait, hold on. I hope I, yeah, it's the normal one. So, you want to use like a regular HTTPS, like, I don't know how to say this, regular HTTP site, like whenever possible, right? And if you really want to, you can install this extension to force reader mode on a lot of articles. On a lot of articles, they just give like garbage. I'm trying to find the one that I use, because the one that I use is a little bit better. I don't have it installed on my Windows machine, but I think I have it installed on my Linux, on my Latitude. I do. This is I'll manage auto reader view. Okay. Auto reader view. Auto reader view. So I like this because you can actually go through each site manually. Like as you're browsing, you'll make like a list for this of sites that you always want to open on reader mode. So let's say Kotaku, which is a gaming like news site. Kotaku, right? So let's say you don't want to waste any any resources rendering like some random article that you just clicked on your old Reddit. And with your old Reddit, of course, there's an extension to always force it to load the old site. And you can use Reddit Enhancement Suite to have the same functionality as regular Linux. I mean regular Reddit, like the Reddit app, right? So this, right? Always open pages from Kotaku on reader mode, yes. And you can see it'll instantly take away some of the load from this, right? Your CPU will like go up for like half a second and then do this. This is not only like a lot better to like read, it's also just like, in my opinion, this is just like the less bloaty thing to do, all right? And you can see 5%. This is useless for any like major tasks. Usually the uptime that I'll have on this, right? This is just, the uptime on this is so high just because I had this, you know, I didn't shut it down. I just left it off all night, right? But usually I'd use this for like 3 or 4 hours, like for lighter tasks, browsing through images, browsing the web. And usually I'd have I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah. I think like the most important extension that you want to have though is auto tab discard. and you can set this to however much or how little you want. I think I have this set up to where it's like, yeah, every 3 minutes, after 3 minutes, put the tabs to sleep. You can see right here, put the tabs to sleep whenever there's more than one inactive tab. So I think that's all I have to say. You know, so the moral of the story is, right, there are some laptops that can be redeemed. They can get the Windows blown out of it. Oh, by the way, for this, I followed Veronica Explains tutorial, and it works flawlessly. It worked perfectly. I just had to, you know, rewind a few times, and that's it. So, moral of the story is there's some laptops that can be redeemed and some that have to be repurposed, right? And there are ways that you can browse the internet without fucking exploding your old or your 4 gigabyte 2-core system, right? You just have to simplify things, minimize things. Even though the interface will be simpler, they'll definitely be lighter on your processing power. And if they're lighter on your processing power, they'll be lighter on your battery life. I don't recommend this for anybody that has like a modern laptop, like let's say like a 9th or even like 9th core Intel, because my old PC's last processor was an Intel i4 9th gen. All right, this is for these. All right, this is for the ThinkPads, like that you either can't or you don't want to upgrade the RAM. So I could probably make a dedicated video going over specific tips for low power browsing. I think I've talked enough though.